In Rajasthan, 11 people killed, 3 injured in collision between a trailer truck and jeep on Balotra Phallori highway in Jodhpur district. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukma in our top story. In the latest updates of coronavirus cases in the country, the total number of confirmed cases is now 83, which includes 3 patients in Kerala who recovered from the illness and went home. 7 patients admitted in Delhi's Doordarshan hospital have also been discharged. Early on Friday, a 68-year-old female from West Delhi died due to comorbidity. The deceased woman had diabetes and hypertension. She also tested positive for COVID-19. The woman came into contact with her son, who is the 5th case of coronavirus in Delhi, with a travel history to Switzerland and Italy between February 5th and 22nd. Meanwhile, 44 Indian nationals who returned to Mumbai from Iran on Friday were shifted to a quarantine facility set up by the Western Naval Command in Mumbai. The Navy has set up a 100-bed quarantine camp in suburban Ghatkopar. They would be kept under medical observation for 2 weeks. Iran is one of the worst affected countries by the virus outbreak, and the government has been working on plans to bring back Indians stranded there. Meanwhile, the 112 evacuees brought in from China's Wuhan tested negative for coronavirus at the end of the 14-day quarantine period at the ITBP facility in Delhi. They also included 36 evacuees from 7 foreign countries, and all were sent home after being certified coronavirus free.
मेडिकल डेली होता था और सारी फैसिलिटी यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छी थी, खाना पीना इन्होंने बहुत अच्छा ट्रीट किया था हमें.
I am from Bangladesh. First of all, I glad to we are so happy happy to Indian government.
I like here everything. Here have a very good food, and the doctor in the we need help and will all come to help us.
बेसिक वाले हम लोग बहुत हेल्प किए, फिर कोई भी प्रॉब्लम हुआ तो तुरंत तो प्रोवाइड कराया, चाहे वो फूड हो, चाहे वाटर हो, चाहे जो हो.
The Government of India has invoked the Disaster Management Act to ensure price regulation and availability of surgical and protective masks, hand sanitizers and gloves. The step has been taken based on reports of non-availability and black marketing of all 3 state and union territory governments have been directed to take necessary steps to ensure sufficient availability of surgical and protective masks, hand sanitizers and gloves at prices not exceeding the printed MRP. They have also been directed to monitor the production and distribution of these items and ensure that hoarding, black marketing and profiteering may not happen. Amid growing coronavirus concerns, the Indian Council of Medical Research's Director General, Professor Balram Bhargav, had an exclusive talk with our correspondent in which he said one must use sanitizers only when there is water unavailable nearby.
सैनिटाइज़र वहाँ यूज़ करें जहाँ पानी नहीं मिल पा रहा है, बहुत पब्लिक स्पेस में है, आप घर से हाथ धो के चले, आप मेट्रो में गए आराम से बिना मास्क लगाए, वहाँ पे आपने कई चीज़ें छुई, आपको लगा, तो वहाँ पे जब उतरने से पहले आप अपना सैनिटाइज़र पे यूज़ कर लीजिए और अपने को हाथ को मुंह पे ना लगाएं.
He also highlighted that there is no shortage of any gloves in the country, and they are being made as they are being made in India itself. He also said that gloves need to be worn only by those who come into contact of an infected person.
ग्लव्स केवल उन लोग को पहनने की ज़रूरत है जो मरीज को देख रहे हैं, जो मरीज का इलाज कर, चाहे नर्स हो, चाहे डॉक्टर हो, चाहे वार्ड बॉय हो, चाहे हेल्थ केयर वर्कर हो, उसको ग्लव्स पहनने की ज़रूरत है। अगर रिश्तेदार मरीज को देख रहे हैं तो उनको ग्लव्स पहनने की ज़रूरत है। और ये ग्लव्स की भी हिंदुस्तान में ही बनते हैं, कोई शॉर्टेज नहीं है। केवल हेल्थ केयर वर्कर्स को यूज़ करने हैं ग्लव्स, या कोई जो मरीज को हैंडल कर रहा है उसको यूज़ करने की ज़रूरत है।
Professor Balram Bhargava further said that there is no shortage of masks and they need to be worn only by those who are infected or suffering from fever and cough.
ये ट्रिपल प्लाई मास्क जो हैं केवल जिसको बीमारी है वो पहनेगा, या हेल्थ केयर वर्कर जो उस बीमार मरीज को देख रहा है वो पहनेगा, उसी से फ़ायदा है। बाकी कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है लोगों को मास्क पहनने के लिए। तो इसमें मास्क की ऐसी कोई शॉर्टेज नहीं, कोई ज़रूरत भी नहीं है लगाने की, केवल मरीज और हेल्थ केयर वर्कर को पहनना है।
The Department of Telecom has on its part relaxed many norms for other service providers till April 30th to facilitate work from home amid the rising coronavirus concerns. These include exemptions in requirement of security deposit, an agreement for work from home facility for other service providers like IT and IT-enabled service companies, as well as the need for prior permission for offering the facility. One of the exemptions include the requirement of authorized service providers provisioned secured VPN or the virtual private network. During this period, the OSPs are permitted to use secured VPN configured using static IP address by themselves for interconnection between home agent position and OSP center with predefined locations. Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant has termed it an excellent decision by the government to allow IT industry to work from home. And India has announced the suspension of cross-border passenger bus and train services with Bangladesh till the 15th of April. The closure of 18 immigration checkposts announced with 4 neighboring countries, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan and Myanmar, as part of measures to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Only selective checkposts will remain open. The government is taking more steps to bring back Indians from coronavirus-affected Iran and Italy who have tested negative for the virus, including the operation of at least 3 flights to these countries over the weekend. Cross-border passenger bus and train services to Bangladesh will be suspended from March 15th to April 15th, though freight train services will continue. Border markets along the Bangladeshi frontier in northeastern states will be suspended till further orders. The World Health Organization on its part has said that Europe is now the epicenter for the global coronavirus pandemic and warned it was impossible to know when the outbreak would peak. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus in a press conference said the continent had now more reported cases and deaths than the rest of the world combined apart from China. The virus, which first surfaced in China in December, has now killed more than 5,000, with cases around the world topping 1,34,000. Tedros said the deaths passing the 5,000 mark was a tragic milestone.
More than 132,000 cases of COVID-19 have now been reported to WHO from 123 countries and territories. 5,000 people have lost their lives, a tragic milestone. Europe has now become the epicenter of the pandemic.
And meanwhile, US President Donald Trump announced a national state of emergency, freeing up $50 billion in federal funds for the battle against the fast-spreading coronavirus pandemic. He called on all US states to set up emergency operation centers and said the government was accelerating testing amid criticism about the lack of sufficient test kits nationwide.
To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency. 2 very big words. The action I am taking will open up access to up to $50 billion of very importantly, very important, and a large amount of money for states and territories and localities in our shared fight against this disease. In furtherance of the order, I'm urging every state to set up emergency operation centers effective immediately. You're going to be hearing from some of the largest companies and greatest retailers and medical companies in the world. They're standing right behind me and inside of me. I'm also asking every hospital in this country to activate its emergency preparedness plan so that they can meet the needs of Americans everywhere. The hospitals are very engaged. New York and various other places are also very engaged. I just spoke with Governor Cuomo. We had a very good conversation, and we're working very strongly with many states, including New York.
Recalling his visit to India, the US President termed Prime Minister Modi as a great friend. In reply to a question on India's borders being closed till the 15th of April due to rising coronavirus concerns, due to which a lot of small businesses are suffering, the US President said he would extend help to India during this time.
Well, on small businesses, the Small Business Administration is now stacked with money to help them, and we're going to make the money readily available if they need it, small businesses. We had a great time in India. It was an incredible 2 days, and he's a great friend of mine, and he's a friend of his people, because he was greeted incredibly warmly, as was I, in that stadium. It was an incredible event, and I loved being with him, so just say hello to him. But we talked about everything. We talked about far more than just borders.
Coronavirus continues to spread across the world, but countries have geared up and put in place stiff measures to contain the spread. Italy's total shutdown enters its fourth day today. The death toll from coronavirus in the country has jumped in the past 24 hours by 250 to 1,266. Italy's Civil Protection Agency has said the 25% hike is the largest rise in absolute terms since the start of the COVID-19 outbreak. Denmark announced on Friday it would shut its borders to most foreign visitors for a month from Saturday, in a move unprecedented in peacetime as part of efforts to halt the spread of coronavirus. All tourists and foreigners without any valid reason to come to Denmark will not be allowed to enter. Spain has meanwhile declared a 15-day state of emergency from today. Some regions' shops have already been closed, and church authorities have cancelled at least 2 Easter parades. Canada has meanwhile shut down Parliament and advised against all non-essential travel outside the country, while Prime Minister Justin Trudeau governed remotely from his home in self-imposed quarantine after his wife tested positive for the new coronavirus. Canada's House of Commons voted to shut down for at least 5 weeks to help ensure lawmakers do not contribute to the spread of the virus. The moves came a day after Trudeau's wife tested positive. The Prime Minister himself has been in self-imposed quarantine. The House is scheduled to meet next on Monday, the 20th of April. In order to curb the spread of COVID-19, the European Union will launch a €37 billion investment initiative as a measure to cushion the economies from coronavirus shock. EU's executive will also provide member states flexibility on budget deficits and will grant full spending flexibility to Italy, as has been by far the most affected country by the crisis. EU will also use €1 billion of EU money to guarantee up to €8 billion in loans to various firms in tourism, retail, transport and other ailing sectors, and will activate a clause in EU fiscal rules to allow suspension of budget commitments by countries most affected by the crisis. And let's now take a look at a list of do's and don'ts as a precaution against coronavirus. Do frequent hand washing. Among the do's, this is at the top. Wash hands with soap and water. Use alcohol-based hand rub. Wash hands even if they look clean. Cover nose, mouth with handkerchief or tissue while sneezing and coughing. Throw used tissues into closed bins after use. See a doctor if you feel unwell or are suffering from fever, having difficulty breathing and coughing. While visiting doctor, wear mask or cover your mouth and nose. And you can call on Health Ministry's 24/7 helpline at 011-239-78046 if you have any of these symptoms. Avoid participating in large gatherings. Among the don'ts, do not have close contact with anyone if they are experiencing cough or fever if you are. Don't touch your eyes, nose and mouth. Do not spit in public. WHO has launched the hashtag Safe Hands Challenge to promote the power of clean, open hands to fight novel coronavirus. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus took to Twitter and shared a video on hashtag Safe Hands. He said there are simple things we each must do to protect ourselves from COVID-19, including open hands washing with soap and splashing sweat, symbol or alcohol-based rub. Join the challenge and share your open hands washing video.
There are several practical measures you can take to protect yourself from the new coronavirus. One of the most important is regular, safe and effective hand hygiene, using soap and water or alcohol-based hand rub. Here are the steps recommended by WHO to follow. You too can have safe and clean hands anywhere. Now I'm calling on the world to take the WHO Safe Hands Challenge to be ready for coronavirus.
Dozens of international sports events have been cancelled or postponed around the world amid rising concerns of coronavirus. BCCI has decided to postpone the 13th edition of the Indian Premier League. And while it was originally set to start from 29th March, it will now be held from the 15th of April. The board is also set to meet IPL team owners today before the start of the IPL Governing Council meeting, and the way forward will be discussed then. The franchises are clear that while they are okay to have the games minus the fans, they want the foreign players, as that is what makes IPL a cricket carnival, they say. India's remaining 2 ODIs against South Africa in Lucknow and Kolkata have been called off amid the new coronavirus outbreak. Earlier, the Indian Premier League 2020 was also postponed till April 15th. The first ODI in Dharamshala on Thursday was washed out without a ball being bowled. The rapid spread of coronavirus is causing cancellations and delays to sporting events around the world. Australian pace bowler Kane Richardson is the latest to join the list and will not play against New Zealand after he was tested for coronavirus. Formula One's season-opening Australian Grand Prix has been postponed after McLaren withdrew from the event when a team member tested positive for coronavirus. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has tested positive for coronavirus. Back home, former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has condemned the attack on BJP leader Jyotiraditya Scindia, saying that the law and order situation has totally collapsed in the state. Chauhan appealed to police and administration to take swift action against those responsible for the attack.
मध्य प्रदेश में कानून और व्यवस्था की स्थिति पूरी तरह से समाप्त हो गई है। जैसे अराजकता का राज है। आम आदमी की बात छोड़ दीजिए, पूर्व केंद्रीय मंत्री, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेता, राज्यसभा के बीजेपी के उम्मीदवार श्रीमान ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया के ऊपर जानलेवा हमला करने का प्रयास किया गया। उनकी गाड़ी रोकने की कोशिश की, पत्थर बरसाए गए, गाड़ी के पास आके लोग गाड़ी पर चढ़ने का और रोकने का प्रयास करने लगे।
In a tragic incident, at least 11 people were killed. 3 were injured after a trailer truck collided with a jeep in Rajasthan's Jodhpur. The accident took place on the Balotra-Falori highway in Shergarh area on Saturday. Among the deceased were 6 women, 4 men and a child. Police and rescue teams were on the collision site. A crane was also being used to extract the rest of the bodies from the vehicles. And the government has notified Yes Bank reconstruction scheme, as per which the moratorium on the troubled private sector lender will be lifted on the 18th of March. Current Administrator Prashant Kumar has been appointed Managing Director and CEO of the newly reconstructed board. The Reserve Bank of India had on March 5th put a moratorium on Yes Bank restricting withdrawals to Rs 50,000 per depositor till the 3rd of April. Para swimmer Satyendra Singh Lohia, who swam across the Catalina Channel on Friday, called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Divyang Satyendra Singh Lohia from Madhya Pradesh has become the first Asian swimmer to cross the Catalina Channel of America. Satyendra holds the Asian record of crossing both the English and Catalina channels.
Meet 32-year-old Satyendra Singh, who developed 70% disability in both his legs due to medical negligence only a fortnight after his birth, and is the first Asian paraswimmer to cross both the English and the Catalina channels in a relay. The Indian contingent, which took to freezing waters of Catalina Channel, covered the distance of 36 km in 10 hours 59 minutes. In March 2019, Satyendra crossed the English Channel in 12 hours 26 minutes and subsequently entered the Limca Book of Records with his effort.
मुलाकात बहुत अच्छी हुई और मैं बताना चाहता हूं कि ये मुलाकात मेरी ज़िंदगी की सबसे बड़ी मुलाकात। अभी तक जितने लोगों से भी मिला हूं उतना टाइम आज तक किसी ने नहीं दिया जो अच्छी तरीके से। आज पीएम साहब से मैं सोचता नहीं था इतना टाइम देंगे, मेरे लिए 10 मिनट अलग से उन्होंने दिया और अच्छे से बात की और उन्होंने मेरे जो अचीवमेंट है उसके लिए बधाई दी। जो मेरे को इस साल बेस्ट स्पोर्ट पर्सन ऑफ द ईयर दिया गया उसके लिए बधाई दी और आगे जो मैं बढ़ूंगा उसके लिए भी शुभकामनाएं दी। और जो उनका जो दिव्यांगों को बढ़ाने के लिए उन्होंने कहा कि हमारा जो सुगम्य भारत अभियान है, हम ऐसे बच्चों को, एक टैलेंटेड बच्चे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि हमने जो दिव्यांग शब्द दिया है ये उनके जो दिव्य कोई अंग है, एक आउटस्टैंडिंग स्किल होता है, उसको निखारने के लिए ही हमने दिव्यांगों की पहचान के लिए हम आगे ये कदम बढ़ा रहे हैं।
On Friday, Satyendra met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Prime Minister tweeted, "I met the remarkable Satyendra, who is an outstanding para swimmer. He has won several laurels and his life journey can motivate many. Sometimes back, he swam across the Catalina Channel. Best wishes to this bright athlete." Let Satyendra's story be an inspiration to us, especially on days when we feel that we cannot move ahead. Sports Desk, DD India.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Namaskar.